We're at the Okta Gov Identity Summit 2022, presented by CyberScoop with Sean Frazier, the Chief Security Officer at Okta. It's great to see you, Sean. Thanks for joining me today. What are some of the biggest challenges that agencies still have in implementing and modernizing identity management solutions?
So I think some of the biggest challenges are the fact that we've had identity and access management around for a long period of time. And it used to be back in the day, you would get a free identity solution with every application you bought. So when you turn around 20 years later, you've got 40 different identity solutions. So one of the biggest challenges is, how do I consolidate that, right? So I've created this massive amount of complexity on how I do access and user management. So the first step is kind of, peeling back the onion a little bit and consolidating some of these things, making sure that my threat surface is known, secure, and finite. It's not this ever-ending thing of identity solutions. So it's just a challenge because we all have legacy. We live in this legacy world. We've been doing this for a while.
What do you like that you've seen over the last year or two that government's doing to try to get out of that rut?
So I think the biggest things, some of it's kind of been driven by external forces. So if I think about things with the extreme telework situation we've been living through, it's like, nothing forces folks to rethink architectures faster than an environment that's swirling around them where they got to figure out how they still deliver services and keep the lights on with all the chaos that's going on around them. So I'm encouraged by people adopting that and kind of embracing that and looking at this environment as helping them kind of accelerate and modernize. We've been talking about modernization in government for as long as I've been doing this, and it's been a few minutes. But now we're actually kind of living it because we've seen the result of not doing it, of not moving to modern solutions, not meeting users where they are in the cloud and doing these things. So I'm encouraged by agencies really kind of digging in and doing it.
Mm-hmm. A lot of that's being driven by situation, by the pandemic in particular, but it's also policy with the executive order on customer experience and so on. How are you seeing the customer experience results manifesting themselves?
So what's interesting is that, and there has been a lot of good guidance that has come out of this. So customer experience is a good one. Digital transformation is another one. We talk about zero trust security as a security inevitability for supporting both of those things. And again, I think that because of this, nothing is by accident. We're kind of looking at, okay, how do we provide agencies guidance on how to do this, how to adopt and embrace it, because that's part of the challenge is, I got all this legacy. I know I need to modernize. No one is running around saying I don't need to modernize, but help me figure out how to do it. And I think a lot of these different pieces of guidance are coming out, and OMB is doing a great job, CISA is doing a great job of providing this guidance and really kind of fleshing out what agencies need to do.
You mentioned zero trust, and identity management, of course, huge component of zero trust. As agencies are putting both of their applications and their identity management solutions in the cloud, what does that look like as far as the end result, both to the government practitioner and to the end user, whether it's an internal or external customer?
So you can't do zero trust without identity. I mean, it's the first pillar for a reason. And the reason is because if you think about zero trust as really kind of, looking to least common denominator of user access to data serviced by applications. And if that's the really thing you're caring about as an agency, which it should be, it, again, is an inevitability. It's kind of the thing that you have to do to support that. So identity becomes a most critical role. And of course, everyone wants to think they're at the center of the universe when it comes to delivering architecture. But in this case, identity really is the center of the universe because it ties everything together. It ties in access. It ties in user experiences because users have to log into things, and you want to give them the best experiences possible to log into things. You don't want them to have to log in every 5 minutes. You don't want them to have to remember complex passwords. You don't want them to have to use cumbersome forms of multi-factor authentication. You want to provide seamless, frictionless access to the users while only providing friction to the attackers.